Good news, I was reborn into a novel. Bad news, I was reborn as Stella Sterling, the fake heiress destined to be kicked to the curb. Good news, I'm the one who wrote the book. I knew that when the real heiress returned, she would use our parents' guilt to grind me into the dust. She would even frame me for selling company secrets, getting me thrown out of the family before running me over with her car. So, at the age of 4, I took a sewing needle and poked holes in every single one of my parents' condoms. From then on, I plied them with fertility-boosting foods and vitamins, determined to bless them with an abundance of children. Finally, when I was 5, my first little sister was born. The next year, my second brother arrived. And now, on my 18th birthday, the real heiress was back. She stared at the 8 little gremlins running around. She was speechless. I'm looking for Arthur Sterling. I'm his biological daughter. Riley, the original protagonist of my book, stood before the video intercom. She held up a paternity test, her back ramrod straight. This is the DNA report. I've come home. Our butler, Mr. Gable, looked utterly exhausted. Ma'am, there's a young lady at the gate. She claims to be the master's biological daughter. At that moment, my mother, Eleanor, was holding the wailing 1-year-old Lydia in her left arm while her right hand was busy prying 6-year-old Finn off his older sister. The household staff didn't dare intervene, forming a nervous circle around the chaos. Hearing the words biological daughter, my mother froze for a split second. According to the original script, this was the moment for shock and disbelief, followed by her rushing out to tearfully embrace her long-lost child. But in reality, Mom, Ethan stole my Iron Man figure. Mom, where's the dress I'm supposed to wear tomorrow? Mom, Sam threw up all over my homework. Mom, a chorus of mom erupted from every corner of the house. My mother ran a hand through her thinning hair. Stop, Mama and Jimmy. Go find your big sister. She radiated an aura of pure, unadulterated despair, the kind that silently screams, let the world burn. I'm not seeing anyone. Tell her to go away. I don't need any more daughters. Mr. Gable looked pained. Ma'am, the young lady has a paternity test. It looks authentic. My mother scratched her head in frustration. I watched from the second-floor landing, trying to stifle a laugh. In the original story, I was the villainous fake heiress. As the only daughter, I was spoiled rotten before the real heiress came back. After Riley's return, guilt and blood ties made her the new family favorite. But now, when my older brother, Ethan, was born, my parents wept with joy and consulted astrologers for his name. When Riley was born, in the original timeline, they were thrilled to have a son and a daughter. When my third sibling, Maya, was born, my parents had faint smiles, thinking it would be nice for the girls to grow up together. By the time Finn was born, number 6, my mother had decided to get her tubes tied. I talked her out of it. With the 7th, 8th, and 9th, my parents' faces grew darker with each birth. When Lydia, the 10th, was born, my mother had finally had enough and booked the surgery. My father, after finishing a shortbread cookie, casually named the baby Cookie. To my mother, another child wasn't a pleasant surprise. It was a horror story. Ma'am, the report. Mr. Gable ventured. I don't want to see it. Just leave it there. My mother snapped, not even looking up. Just get Lydia to stop crying. Oh, for heaven's sake. You little monster. Please stop. You're giving mommy a migraine. She frantically bounced Lydia in her arms, humming a nursery rhyme. As for the real heiress at the gate, clutching her DNA report and waiting for a heartwarming family reunion, nobody had the time. I strolled down the stairs, took the tablet from Mr. Gable, and glanced at the security feed. On screen, Riley was still holding her defiant pose. After a long wait, her expression had shifted to one of impatience and confusion. A small smile played on my lips. Let her in, I told Mr. Gable. She is father's flesh and blood. After all, we wouldn't want people to think the Sterlings abuse their illegitimate children. Miss Stella, but, Mr. Gable hesitated. It's fine. If anything happens, I'll take responsibility. I smiled, the very picture of a gracious and understanding older sister. Mr. Gable finally nodded and opened the gates. The moment Riley stepped into the Sterling family living room, her face was a spectacular canvas of emotions. The sprawling space was a war zone of scattered toys, picture books, and snack wrappers. A boy of about 6 or 7 was riding another 5-year-old like a horse, yelling, "Giddy up, giddy up." The horse was wailing his eyes out, snot bubbles forming at his nose. The two of them barreled straight into Riley. Caught off guard, she stumbled back. Instinctively, she lashed out, shoving the boy with all her might. Get off me. That push was delivered with full force. Where did this little brat come from, daring to run into me? 5-year-old Sam was no match for that shove. He went flying backward, his head cracking against the corner of the marble coffee table with a sickening thud. Wah! A huge lump immediately swelled on Sam's forehead, a trickle of blood running down from his temple. Sam, Maya, my third sibling, scooped him up and shot a venomous glare at Riley. Who are you? What gives you the right to come into our house and bully my brother? Riley, furious, shot back. The Sterlings only have 2 children, me and my brother. What makes you think this is your house? You, and that bitch Stella, you're all imposters. Crack. The sharp sound of a slap cut through the noisy living room. Riley clutched her face, staring in disbelief at my mother, who had appeared out of nowhere. My mother's hand was still raised, her chest heaving with rage. Riley's eyes widened in a flash of panic. My mother roared, pointing at the swarm of children. Let me tell you something. Every single one of these children is one I carried for 9 months. Who are you calling a brat? Huh? Who are you calling a brat? Trembling with fury, my mother grabbed a feather duster from a nearby table and started whipping it at Riley. You dare hit my son the second you walk in the door? You dare call them brats? Which one of Arthur's mistresses are you the daughter of? Do you have no manners at all? Riley was stunned, frozen by the assault. She whipped her head around, her eyes landing on me, still watching the show from the staircase. I leaned against the railing and gave her a brilliant smile. Mom, calm down. I walked down and gently patted her back. Riley wasn't raised with us, after all. It's understandable that her etiquette is a little lacking. We can teach her over time. I turned to Riley, my face a mask of innocence. Riley, just apologize to Mom, and we can put this all behind us. Riley gritted her teeth and dropped to her knees with a thud. The tears came instantly. Mom, I'm sorry. She wept beautifully, a sight that would soften any heart. I grew up in an orphanage. I was bullied my whole life. If I wasn't tough, people would walk all over me. I had to fight dogs for scraps just to eat. I wasn't lucky like Stella, who got to live a life of luxury in my place. Please, Mom, forgive me. She looked up, her eyes, so similar to my mother's, peering timidly at her. Wow, she even managed to take a jab at me while playing the victim card. Mom, I honestly didn't know I had so many brothers and sisters. I just wanted a family so badly. My mother's tense expression softened. The fire in her eyes faded, replaced by a flicker of guilt. All right, get up, she sighed, reaching out a hand to help Riley. A flash of triumph crossed Riley's face, but just then, wah! A deafening, soul-shattering cry erupted again. This time, it wasn't Sam. It was Lydia. Sky, sister is Sky, so Sky. 3-year-old Lydia buried herself in my arms, her little face red from crying, her breaths coming in ragged gasps. She was a preemie and had always been frail. This crying fit was so intense she almost passed out. Oh, my sweet angel. My mother's hand, which had been reaching for Riley, instantly retracted. She lunged toward Lydia. What's wrong, my darling? Did she scare you? It's okay, Mommy's here. The other children who had gathered around Riley scattered, now hovering anxiously around Lydia. Riley's eyes were locked on Lydia, the center of everyone's attention, and she ground her teeth so hard I could hear it. I held Lydia, gently patting her back. Suddenly, Riley was standing behind me. Owie, hand Owie, Lydia shrieked, holding up her little hand, her cries heart-wrenching. I looked down. On the back of Lydia's pale, tender hand was a bright red nail mark, already beading with blood. Riley saw it and immediately launched into a tirade. Stella, what did you do? How could you pinch your own sister? If you don't want me here, I'll leave. Why do you have to hurt our sister just to humiliate me? Her accusation hung in the air, plunging the room into a dead silence. I almost burst out laughing. You're saying, Stella pinched Lydia? Leo, my fourth sibling, scoffed as if he'd just heard the world's dumbest joke. He walked over, grabbed my hand, and held it up in front of Riley's face. Open your damn eyes and look closely. My nails were trimmed short, perfectly even with the tips of my fingers. To take care of my younger siblings, I never let them grow out. And my hands were softer than my face. I couldn't scratch a block of tofu, let alone draw blood. Riley, on the other hand, her hands were rough, her nails long, sharp, and pointy. She was the only one in the entire house who had them. My mother, trembling with a fresh wave of rage, pointed at the door and roared, "Take her to her room and lock the door. Let her think about what she's done." 2 security guards then dragged a protesting Riley away like a sack of potatoes. After a few days of confinement, Riley emerged much more subdued. Finally, the night of my older brother Ethan's engagement party to a Miss Davenport arrived. This was a pivotal scene in the original book. It was also the turning point that sealed my fate. According to the original plot, Riley would drug me tonight, causing me to end up in bed with the Sterling family's mortal enemy, the novel's main villain, Vincent Hawke. Then, she would plant a USB drive containing company secrets, stolen from our father's study, in my room. She would then lead a crowd to catch me in the act, cementing my reputation as a traitor. Faced with this impending setup, I decided to do nothing. I would simply wait for Riley to make her move. The party began. Riley's eyes kept drifting toward the wine glass in my hand. I played my part perfectly, raising the spiked glass of red wine and downing it in one go. I even swayed a little, feigning dizziness. "Stella, are you drunk?" Riley immediately rushed to my side, her face a mask of concern as she supported me. "Let me help you upstairs to rest." I leaned against her, nodding groggily. Riley helped me to a room, shoved me onto the bed, and quickly left, locking the door behind her. I felt someone else lying next to me. The person pulled me into their arms as my consciousness faded completely. The next thing I knew, I was being woken up by shouting, "Dad, Mom, I swear I saw Stella go into this room with our family's nemesis." Riley's anxious voice came from outside the door. "That's impossible. Stella would never cheat. That was my mother. Mom, Stella isn't your real daughter. You can't trust her." Crash, the door was thrown open. Riley burst in first, followed by my parents and a crowd of guests. Seeing the scene on the bed, Riley let out an exaggerated scream. "Stella, Dad never planned to kick you out. How could you do something like this for money and power?" Vincent Hawke and I were sitting up in bed, disheveled. I quickly pulled the covers over myself. "What are you doing? Why are you barging into my room?" Vincent moved to shield me. "Riley, what is the meaning of this?" he asked, his voice cold. My father's face was dark as he stared at Riley. Seeing her audience assembled, Riley began her performance. She pointed at me, her voice thick with tears. "Dad, don't be fooled by her. She's a thankless traitor. Not only did she collude with the Hawke family, but she also stole confidential files from your study to give to Vincent. I saw it with my own eyes. It's right under that pillow." She rushed forward and yanked the pillow away. Sure enough, a black USB drive lay there. "You framed me," I exclaimed, frowning at the drive. Riley held it up triumphantly, caught red-handed. "Stella, what do you have to say for yourself? You sold out the family that raised you for money. You're worse than an animal. Dad, Mom, we have to throw this backstabbing snake out of our family." Sam, my 9th sibling, ran out and stood in front of me, crying desperately. "No, you can't make Stella leave. She's the best to us. Stella would never betray the family. It's you. You bad woman, you're framing my sister." Noah, number 8, stepped forward and started shoving Riley. "Dad, Mom, I also have security footage of Stella going in and out of the study," Riley announced, trying to seal my fate. "It's definitely her, stealing company secrets." She shot me a provocative glance glance and pulled out her phone to play the video. Then, she pulled Lydia, who was standing in the corner, into the spotlight. Lydia, can you tell all the uncles and aunts what you told me earlier? Was it Stella who went into the study and stole the files? Tell everyone. Lydia hesitated, looking from our parents to me. Big sister. I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at Lydia. It was. Before Lydia could finish, Riley interrupted loudly. Stella, even if you're not mom and dad's real daughter, they still cherished you and gave you everything. How could you betray them? If you hate me that much, I'll leave. You don't have to betray our family just because of me. Riley's accusations were passionate and filled with tears.